Welcome to the Anxiety Ridden Moms Club, the podcast where two moms, each with her own unique style, come together to navigate the wild ride of motherhood, careers, and anxiety. I'm Kylie.
And I'm Gina. There was a time when Kylie and I were direct competitors in corporate America and had different perspectives on growing our careers while managing life and all the things that come with it. But those differences have only made our friendship and our insights richer.
I like to call it trauma bonded, Gina. What started out as a difference of opinions evolved into a genuine connection. Our journey from varied viewpoints to a supportive friendship has taught us that every approach has its own strength.
Now, as co-hosts and best friends, we blend generations of wisdom with fresh, modern ideas to explore the challenges, joys, and yes, even the anxieties of being career moms.
So whether you're a seasoned pro or just stepping into the wild world of parenting, a new career, or new relationships, join us as we share stories, offer advice, and sometimes even overthink it all together.
Grab your favorite cup of tea or coffee and settle in. Welcome to the Anxiety Ridden Moms Club.
Welcome back to the Anxiety Ridden Moms Club, where we talk about the real stuff: motherhood, identity, relationships, careers, and of course, anxiety. I'm Kylie.
And I'm Gina. And today we are diving deep into a chapter of motherhood that is both magical and absolutely unhinged: the infant and toddler stages.
From the first cry to the first tantrum, this era is filled with so many firsts and so many moments where you question literally everything,
including your own sanity. Seriously.
Seriously.
We're talking sleep deprivation, feeding struggles, mom guilt, milestones, comparison traps, and wondering if you'll ever feel like yourself again.
The infant stage. The infant stage. Let's start with that newborn phase. Everyone says, soak it up. But what if you're drowning in sleep deprivation, cluster feeding, and postpartum hormones?
The pressure to enjoy every moment is so real and so unfair. You're barely sleeping, your boobs hurt, your body's recovering, and somehow you're expected to be glowing.
And the anxiety is next level. Are they eating enough? Why are they grunting in their sleep? Why does Google say it could be reflux or colic or maybe just gas?
Don't even get me started on the late night Google spirals. One time I convinced myself my baby had a rare illness based on a weird diaper. Spoiler, it was blueberries.
Oh, Lord. Lord, Lord, Lord. Feeding is another landmine. Breastfeeding, formula, pumping, combo feeding, there's guilt no matter what you choose or what your body allows. I want to pause and kind of dive deep into that for a second, and the pressure and the anxiety of breastfeeding alone. I feel like we could talk about for 2 hours, honestly. You know, did you breastfeed?
So breastfeeding was not something that I was really interested in doing. When I was pregnant with Austin and we're in the hospital, all of a sudden it's like somebody's grabbing hold of my boob and wanting me to shove it in this baby's mouth, and I really didn't want to. But I felt the pressure and I was quiet and I didn't say anything, so we just kind of went along with it. I didn't like it. And I had already been scared anyways because the doctors had told me, you know, you're a redhead, so your nipples will crack worse. You're going to be sore. It's going to be hard on you. I mean, all these things. So even more reason why I didn't want to. I was like, this just sounds like more misery added to coming home with a brand new infant. And so I went ahead and went with it. I did it in the hospital. And as soon as we got home, I went ahead to try to feed him. He get latched on super hard. And I was like, I'm done. It ain't happening. So I went ahead and I got a bottle and I put it in his mouth, and he was a happy little boy and ate no problem. I was sore. And then a couple days go by and I was so engorged. The pain was unreal. And then you read, put cabbage in your, into your bra, and that'll help you.
Cabbage in your bra?
Yes. That was one of the things I Googled. Put some cabbage leaves in there.
God bless.
So I'm like, first of all, I don't even eat cabbage, so I'm probably not going to go buy any. So the only other thing I had somebody tell me, which at least seemed more like reasonable, was to buy a sports bra that was too tight and put it on. Getting that on was a trick in itself. So here it is. You're pulling it out as far as you can. You're going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, please. And then you get it over it and you're just like, oh. I slept in it, had it on for 24 hours, perfectly fine. All solved. Problem solved. No problem at all. So happy. So when I had Kylie, I didn't even attempt. We're bottle feeders over here. But here's a problem with when you're going through those things, how many people feel that that's wrong. I didn't breastfeed and that I, didn't give that child certain things that they need so desperately from you. My mom, though, I think part of the reason I didn't want to is my mom breastfed my sister. My sister's 8 years younger than me. So I would go in the room, and I remember my mom putting these...
So she didn't you?
No, she did with all of us.
Oh, okay.
So with my sister, I'm 8, so I witness it, right? And I remember like the little shields she had to put over herself and different things going on. And I would just think, oh my God, no, it's just not me. It was just odd, you know what I mean, at 8 years old to sit and like be a part of that. And my mom she did a great job with it. She didn't complain about anything, but it was just one of those things where I think it just made me feel like, I don't think I'm going to do that.
This is not for me.
This just wasn't for me. And I think there's nothing wrong with it not being for me. And I just think that this is where moms need to come together. And I think it's a choice. And anybody who wants to breastfeed, I think it's great. My daughter-in-law is like a pro breastfeeder. She's like amazing at it. The only thing is that when she eats mushrooms, she's not allowed to bring her children to me the next day.
Oh.
They smell so bad. And I'm like, if you want to eat the mushrooms, honey, you're going to keep your kid the next day. Yeah. They're not coming here. But other than that, she's amazing at it. She does a great job. I mean, kudos to her all day long. I think it's wonderful. And if it's something that you are able to do and want to do, I think you should. And if you don't feel comfortable doing it, you shouldn't have to, and people shouldn't judge you.
For sure. I also think that is generational, or that can be generational, because, my mom said it wasn't really, like, we didn't do it. Like, that wasn't really a thing. And for me, I'm sure I'll say 100 times over through different episodes, but Wyatt was a preemie. He was in the hospital for 2 months, and he was 2 pounds, 5 ounces. So one of the things that they harped on was breast milk, because of all of the good vitamins and I don't know, all the shit they said is good about breast milk. I don't know. So I don't know if that's what kind of turned me off, because I never got to breastfeed Wyatt. Luckily, when he was in the NICU, they have those people that you were talking about being pros at it that donate their breast milk to NICUs and different things for the babies in the hospital and different things. So he was on donor breast milk for quite a while. And then that was one of the things that they, obviously switched over to formula when he, was transitioning home or whatever. But I had to pump, or I was, expected to pump, because this is best for your baby. And I tried really freaking hard. And my milk wouldn't come in. I was stressed out about it. So we used the donor milk while he was in the NICU, and then we transitioned to formula. And then with Nora, I gave it my best shot. And I kind of set the goal for myself for 3 months, but it was one of my least favorite parts. I'm with you. I felt like this baby is always connected to me. Like I just felt like that consumed my days. Was either breastfeeding her, or wondering when I needed to breastfeed her, or planning my days around when she needed to eat. Or I remember, walking through the at-home store and somebody giving me a weird look, and I literally had an entire cape over me, and it stressed me, like the anxiety of just planning my days and being where I needed to be, and is my milk going to come in? And honestly, I did my best, pumped what I could. When I went back to work one day, I was so proud of the amount that I brought home for her. And my now ex-husband, he knocked it over, and I lost my shit. And I said, I'm done. This is too much coordinating. My work wasn't super great about offering a place to make you comfortable. We were in a closet with a computer server, and it was miserable. And, my job at the time, I was a busy boss and constantly on the go. It seemed more like a just pain in the ass than whatever.
Right.
But there's so much pressure that I feel like the world now, it's like breastfeed. And then you watch these people and they're like, look at my freezer. And I am so proud of you, mama. I am so proud of you if you've got a freezer full of breast milk, but it just didn't happen that way for me. So I made it like 3.5, 4 months, I would say. And
that's good, at least,
Yeah, I made it back to work for a little bit and then I was like, no. And I commuted an hour both ways. So it's keeping it cold while you're to and from and blah, 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 blah.
It is definitely, I think, a system. I mean, I've definitely, with the people I've known through the years, and they do a good job with it, they have a system, they put it in place, and it works. And they usually are good producers as well, so that way they have that stash for when they need it. And like I said, I think it's good that we've normalized it more to where if you are in a store and you had a cloth over you, I don't think there's as many people having such an issue with it today as it was before.
Oh, people straight up have their tit out, like wherever, and that's not me either. Because there are some things. Either. And you do you. If you are that confident and you can do that, more power to you. I am not judging. But that is just not me.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. I think it's about respecting each other for being who we each are and what we feel the most comfortable for. It's just if you want to breastfeed and there's people who breastfeed, this is how many months I'm going to do, or I'm going to do it for the first year. Whatever you can do, and that's what you choose, and that's what's best for your family. It's what you should do. If formula feeding is better for you, then that's what you should do. One thing reason I liked formula feeding is I also didn't like the fact that if you breastfed, I'd hear women talking about, I got to feed every 2 hours while I'm sleeping. Okay, I am not and never have been somebody who me lack of sleep like that. Or if you formula fed, you got more hours. I'm like, okay, that in itself for me.
And help. Somebody else can feed the damn baby.
Yes. And I mean, and having that I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, right after having Austin, I'm sick. I need my sleep. I could not just simply be like, okay, every 2 hours, I'll just go up and feed him. And then I'll have his lack of sleep and him screaming at me all day long. Like that just wasn't going to work. So I definitely needed to go for formula for him. But I think that's the other thing is like, I didn't walk outside to tell everyone who is a breastfeeding mom, hey, I don't breastfeed and this is why. So some of them could be judgmental to me, thinking that what I was doing is wrong. But there's always a story behind lots of people's decisions. There's women who can't produce milk, and that's why they don't get to. It's not they don't want to, they just can't. And
but I think if you don't want to, you don't have to.
Right.
And we've got to stop judging each other. Let them do them. It doesn't affect you. It doesn't affect you in any way, shape, or form. So if they want to breastfeed until they're 2, let them.
Yes.
If they want to bottle feed from day 2, let them. It is none of our damn concern. And we need to do a better job as a community of letting people do what they want to do. What they want to do and what they think is best for them and their child. And don't lose any sleep over it. Who cares? And I think that would help anxiety in all sorts of forms, that if we just let people do what they feel comfortable doing, and it is what it is.
And we could actually support each other better. In the end, we could also ultimately support each other better. If you just understand what's going on with the people around you, then you know how to support them and you know what to do to make them feel better. But even from that, we go into, that lack of sleep I was even talking about. Like for me, it just wasn't going to be good and healthy for me to have that lack of sleep. So sleep training for me was even a really big deal. So my kids were very scheduled, very, very, very scheduled.
What did that look like?
So I would make sure that their whole routine going to bed was the same, and I never will speak to an infant while in the middle of the night. So if an infant wakes up and I go over to that infant to pick them up to feed them, I do not say one word to them. And I don't, because if you don't speak to them, you don't stimulate them. So you can just put the bottle in their mouth, or if you're breastfeeding and you feed them and then you put them back. And if I don't say anything, they don't arouse in the same way, and so they would sleep. So my kids are good sleepers. And then during the day, it was the same thing. Nap times are the same. Everything is the same. It made it better and easier for me to manage everything. If they slept, I knew when they would sleep. So when they're infants, like they say, if they sleep, you should sleep, which is true. But then when they get to the point that the naps are maybe only once in the afternoon, once you hit that toddler phase, they need that nap. And that way, sometimes it was to get things done, because they were already regularly routine through the night. I didn't have to be up all night long or anything anymore. So I slept at night. So that was my laundry time, or clean up the kitchen, or maybe it's just watch a good show that's an adult program that I can actually watch. But I definitely always made it a point to do that. I never did any co-sleeping except for my daughter had had slept in our room in her bassinet till she was about 9 months. And then she went upstairs because we're on a main level and the kids are upstairs. So she would, so we waited a little longer just for that purpose. We put her up there, and then one night she's like screaming and like she's scared. And then my husband was like, she's never going up there again. So she came back down, but she slept either in a playpen, graduated up to even a toddler bed in our room. So if your kids are in your room, they ain't getting out anytime soon. She was with us till she was 9, but she always slept in her own bed. I was always been paranoid about the stories of things that happen, the people who sleep in their bed. So it just scares me. So I always made sure she had her own space. And I think the only reason she left our room was we watched 2.5 Men every night to go to sleep. And so one night she told us, she said, "That's it. I can't hear men anymore." And she grabbed her blanket and her pillow and she charged upstairs and never came back down.
Oh, that's
so my
funny.
advice: if you ever want your kids to get out of your room, start watching a show they can't stand.
There you go.
They'll leave.
My NICU baby, he slept through all the bells and whistles. So he slept 8 hours and it was amazing. And then Nora would do 3 or 4 hour stints, and I was like, what the hell is this? Like, what is this? But looking back, they both were incredible sleepers compared to the stories that I've heard. One of my sister-in-laws, her son, he's toddler now, but gets up at like 4:30 a.m. I'm like, oh hell no. Oh, hell no. But I was definitely probably less regimented, especially with my work schedule and working long hours and different things. I was probably less on a schedule, I guess, if you will, but I didn't do the co-sleeping. Nora, for Wyatt, he was in the crib. We're all on the same level, so we don't have the split level situation, but he was in the crib from the moment he came home from the NICU, because that was, he's always slept separate from us, so that was normal. And then with Nora, I will call Norma from time to time. So if you hear me call her Norma, it's because I call her Norma Jean. I don't know why. I think there's a song called Norma Jean or something like that. I don't know. But I call her all kinds of things. So she's Nora, Norma, Judy. It's Judy with the booty. She'll probably get mad at me for that. But yeah, I call her all of the things. So if I slip, it's because I have lots of nicknames for her. But she slept in a bassinet next to my bed for a while, but then her bedroom's literally like 5 steps away from mine. So then we transitioned her to her room pretty early on, and yeah, I'm very, very fortunate in that realm. But I didn't do the co-sleeping thing. I'm not judging anybody that does, especially when you're breastfeeding, you're freaking tired and they're on your boob, and like I can totally understand that and relate to that. But that wasn't something for me. So everybody's got an opinion. And we're all just trying to survive without trying to lose our minds. So no judgment.
Right.
You do you.
Right. Exactly. Well, and, the other thing I was just thinking about was like when I've said before that Austin was so colicky and he vomited everywhere. And so from the point in time he was an infant, the vomiting like went on for years. And we had times where I was at a restaurant a couple different times. And he all of a sudden had eaten maybe half of his meal. And then he stands up and he looks at me. Well, he would always get this weird noise right before he did it. But it was instantaneous. And
kind of like my dog.
I would have to all of a sudden, he'd be staring at me. He always wanted to throw up at me. He'd love to coat me down. So for all of you ladies out there that are pregnant, just know, yes, lots of babies throw up a lot. And they, for some reason, want to spit it right at your face. So I got good at spinning him around. I spun him around at this one restaurant, and he is just vomiting all over the table. We were with a group of friends, and he is just filling bowls and plates. It was like, it's just projectile. And I'm grabbing him up, and then I'm running down the hallway to go to the bathroom to get him in there. But by then, I think he'd already emptied every bit of everything on the table in front of everybody. But that's why
That makes me want to throw up now, actually, just talking about it.
So that's why I never was able to be dressed nice or do my hair during that time. I just threw my hair up all the time. I wore kind of whatever and really didn't care what I looked like. And if you didn't like it, eventually at some point when you were with Austin, you would know why I look like that. And I think it's stressors for us anyways, that after you've had your baby, body doesn't go right back in shape immediately for all of us. And, then we worry, does our husbands, they even think we're still attractive.
Oh, they better.
Especially when you have vomit in your hair, poop down your leg, whatever else goes on. Just get ready because it is a part of our adventures that we go through.
Hey, I would much rather deal with like infant vomit than like, man, when your kids get older.
Oh yeah, I can't.
I will clothespin my nose. Yeah. I will do everything. And then I just run and I can deal with poop.
Yep.
Any type, whatever. Like I really can. I can change poopy asses. I can, dogs and cats and whatever the case may be. Like it doesn't bother me, but vomit, I cannot. Mm-hmm. I can't do it. But
especially when they get sick, it just makes it worse.
Yeah. So the infant phase, it goes by fast. But for me, then all of a sudden they're toddlers. Mm-hmm. They're toddlers. And you're like, wait, who gave you, who gave you the right to have that strong of an opinion right now? Like they're judgy and they're crazy, and the tantrums, the independence, the no, it's hilarious and maddening and overwhelming all at the same time. How do we, let me ask you something.
What?
I'm genuinely curious. So do you remember anything from your like toddler days, middle school? Do you remember?
I don't remember anything from being a toddler. I don't remember anything until probably I was at least 4 to 5 years old.
So we worry a lot about raising these little humans, but shit happens and they don't remember.
Right. So exactly.
Less pressure.
Yes.
Less pressure because I don't. And I would be curious, asking my kids like what they remember. And I think even now, they're still young now, so they might remember more. But like when I look back, like I remember the big things, the vacations. And I don't want to say like you have to take vacations or anything, but what's the new trend or the where everybody says, oh, this is a core memory.
Oh, yeah. Well, here's the thing. Okay, in bringing this up, actually, so we really don't remember anything goes on typically 9 times out of 10. Our oldest, Tommy, he might, because he's like a photographic memory. So he has like blips of things that I'm like, I don't even know how you know that. But
that's a good point. That's a good point.
But it's very rare that anybody, all the rest of my kids are like, what? I don't know. Heck, I was probably 8 or 9 before I remember anything. And I think and then when they tell you stories, you're like, that's not even accurate. You didn't remember. That's not even what happened. But they believe it wholeheartedly. Like, this is exactly what happened. And that's even through their whole entire time of growing up. That's toddler to grade school to going on to middle school and high school. The boys will sometimes tell us a story, and after they leave, we let them tell it. And then my husband and I look at each other and we laugh. We're like, that's totally not how that.
They just remember certain. They just remember certain
little things, but then they kind of have some other ideas. And I think it's where we can definitely not put so much pressure on ourselves, especially during the toddler phase of how everything is going on in their world. Yes, we want to make sure they're fed and happy and taken care of, but we don't need to stress ourselves out.
And then comes the comparison game. So why isn't my kid talking yet? Why aren't they potty trained? Yes. Why do they still sleep with me? Instagram milestones will have you thinking that your child should be fluent in Spanish and folding laundry by the age of 2. Like that's
and even to that, I mean, okay, so the people who want to give their kids a binky and they want to take it away at a certain age, and the next person's like, I really don't care. My kid's happy. It doesn't matter. I limit at different times. I get to certain ages. I just kind of dwindle down through time, and when it comes to that point, I give it up. Here's my opinion to all of that. It doesn't matter when you do it. And the reason it doesn't matter, it has nothing to do with what they become as an adult. So if your kid crawled...
Now their teeth might be jacked up.
Well,
shout out.
They're probably going to be jacked up anyways and need braces regardless.
Shout out to myself who sucked my thumb until I was
Well, sucking a
We're not
thumb.
gonna
See,
talk
I
about
pulled
how
that thing.
long.
I would have pulled that out of your mouth because you can't cut a thumb off. I can cut a binky down.
Good luck. Good luck. Because my mom tried some nasty spice and I would just get through it. I would suck through it.
Oh, yeah.
She tried tube socks. I remember like her.
You have flattened thumbs. Usually people have flattened thumbs.
My thumbs are just perfect.
I don't know about that.
Well, they're kind of gross right now, but anyway, tube socks. I remember, so my mom used to play bunco with a group of friends, and I remember being so freaking embarrassed because they would go to put me to bed, and they're like, hold on, we got to get your tube socks on. And I think that's the one thing that finally broke me was them duct taping tube socks to my sleepers or whatever that it was. But no, I was an avid thumb sucker. Neither of my kids were. Actually, I feel like in the infant stage, they took binkies for a little bit, but I was super duper duper fortunate. But but
I think that's the thing. It's kid to kid. And if your kid is was in diapers till longer than others. They didn't crawl as soon as somebody else. They didn't do different things at the same stage as somebody else. It literally doesn't affect what kind of adults that they become. So everybody's in such competition when they're young to say, oh, your child is still doing that? Yeah, they are. And they're perfectly fine and happy. And as long as you have good kids and you've got them, even scheduling. My kids were always happy. I never had a problem with temper tantrums out because they weren't overly tired. So I didn't have a problem. So if you didn't like that there was a binky in somebody's mouth for longer than what you think it should be in their mouth, my kids will be just fine when they're adults.
For sure. So I've talked about this before, but I threw my daughter. Not that I didn't like Taylor Swift before, but through my daughter being a hardcore Swiftie, I'm on the Swiftie train. I loved her songs early on. She was born in May 1989, and as was I. And so, because of Nora, so later on is why I'm really into my Swiftie era now. But I was a Chiefs fan long before. Being a Swiftie. So two of my favorite podcasts are the New Heights podcast and then Not Gonna Lie with Kylie Kelsey. And so just this morning when I was waiting on you to get here, I was watching, I don't know if it was TikTok or Facebook Reels or whatever, but Not Gonna Lie with Kylie Kelsey had posted a reel, and it was it was after the Super Bowl where Jason and Travis Kelsey played each other. And Jason lost, and it was his daughter, Wyatt, sitting on the bed. And she's like, Daddy, you didn't win. You didn't win. And he's like, I know. And it was just an awesome dad moment for Jason. He was like, I know I didn't win. Uncle Travie won. And it was super cute. And I went to the comments, and the first comment I saw, and trolls like crazy, why does that kid still have a binky? Take that binky out of her mouth. And I'm like, shut up. Not only because I feel like I'm family and I don't know them, but just because I was a Chiefs fan and then I was a Swiftie, and now the worlds are collided. And
that binky baby probably be some amazing sports person that'll be doing all sorts of amazing things, and the binky meant nothing.
Who cares?
It doesn't matter.
And I think they have four girls, and they're all young in age. So bite me. What? That is not your place.
No.
Just shut up. Go away. And why do people feel compelled to sit behind their computers or their phones or whatever the case may be and judge other people and put it out there? And then you have the people that are attacking the people that had commented in the first place. And then I'm like, okay, I'm, eating my popcorn, reading all of the things. But it just...
But that's why everybody gets concerned about their timelines and when they have to do things, because what will somebody else say? And at the end of the day, the reality of it is, if you could be a fly on the wall at everybody's home and see everything everybody does, you can pass judgment all day long. It doesn't mean that you're right and they're wrong, and it doesn't mean that something's going to be wrong with their child.
I have to correct that Taylor Swift was born in December of 1989, not May. You were born in May.
I'm born
of a different year.
But
Taylor was born
I'm a lot older than that.
In December. So we just have the 1989 thing, which she does have an album about. But I was just corrected on the side that Taylor was not born. I said I was a Chiefs fan before a Swiftie. So some of my, facts aren't going to be exactly correct, Nora. But anyway. See, I'm judged by my 10-year-old all the time. Stop judging people.
Right.
People make mistakes.
I told you, this starts in childhood and it just never ends. Never ends, Nora.
I tell you. Nora is going to guest star on a podcast very, very, very soon. She is very, very eager to get on and tell a story. I guess I'm just hesitant because I don't know what story she's going to tell.
Hey, no judgment. So it won't matter what she talks about.
Right, because at the Anxiety Ridden Moms Club, we don't judge.
Right.
I might get a funny look on my face, but I'm just processing. I'm not judging.
Right.
I do judge, and I'm working on it. I really am, because I don't want to be judged.
But it's okay I do think when something is different, we do tend to judge at first. I think it's kind of human nature to do that. But what's important is that we all take a minute to think it through before we go commenting on people's things or saying something rude to somebody's face or talking about their decisions as always being wrong. Maybe you don't even understand why they chose something. Maybe you don't know the background to their situation in their life.
I know. So sometimes my face reads different and I'm just processing and I will back it down. Mm-hmm. That is something I'm working on is thinking through before opening my big mouth. We're growing.
I'm proud of you.
I know. We grow. We grow. Let's talk about getting back on track for a minute, the mental load and the identity crisis that hits in these early years. And for me, it goes by so fast. So fast.
It does go by fast.
Like, I don't know. I have a 10 and a soon-to-be 14-year-old, and, like, I feel like I blinked.
Well, and then you get to be me, and I'm just keep blinking. You go through this infant phase, toddler, and the kids are all of a sudden grown. It's just amazing how fast they grow. Next thing you know, they're adults. They're getting married. They're having children of their own. Now all of a sudden I'm a grandma, and I don't think I seem like a grandma. Not like my grandma, which I loved my grandma. But at the end of the day, she was typical back in the day, what your grandma was. That's fine. I never really want to be like a grandma.
So my mom has been talking. So my dad's a general contractor. They've been talking about redoing the siding on her house, and she's had the current siding on her current house since they built it. So it's been like 30 years, and she's like, "Yeah, I just kind of stopped in my tracks the other day because I said, well, I'll have to live with it for 30 years," and she's like, "I might not," and it sent us both into a panic. I'm like, oh my God.
You're right. It's so crazy.
And that is like bizarre to think about.
And as you get older, the years just go faster,
That's what I'm learning is just like sometimes the days go by slow. Sometimes they don't, but sometimes they do. But the weeks and the months and the years
go by fast.
It goes by so fast. We're over halfway through the year, and it's going to be Thanksgiving and Christmas and all of that craze before we know it, and it goes by fast. So as we were prepping content, I actually heard the song "You're Gonna Miss This" by Trace Adkins, and it's the one where he says, like, dogs barking, phones ringing, one kid's crying and one kid's screaming, and she keeps apologizing, and he says, they don't bother me. I've got 2 babies of my own. One's 36, one's 23 or something like that. I don't know if I quoted it exactly right, but he said it's hard to believe, but you're gonna miss this. And
yes, it's true.
He says you're going to wish these days hadn't gone by so fast. And I think that's the one thing I wanted to make sure I hit on about even the infant but for me, the toddler, like where does time go? Time goes by so fast. And I wish for me now, there's a couple of these podcasts that have made me a little emotional. And I think it's just because of like the phase I am in my life where I'm not, it's not all about my career and money. It's about slowing down and really just enjoying my life. And I get emotional because I spent so many years when my kids were little just focused on the wrong things. Mm-hmm. And so it's hard because there's a lot of things I don't, I don't remember. And I was really focused on my career and to each their own. Everybody has goals and everybody has different things. But I don't know. I have a lot of regret for not focusing on what's important, or even my own anxiety and issues and different things that I let take over what really matters, I guess.
Right.
And I just, if anyone's listening out there and you're kind of deep in it now, like just slow down and enjoy.
Yes.
Nothing is more important than the humans that we're expected to raise, and not be serial killers. And I know that it's stressful, and I know that watching the people next to you or on Instagram or on Facebook, like being perfect, but that's not real. That's not real. And if I can encourage our listeners to do anything, it's just slow down and enjoy whatever stage that you're in. I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have done that more.
Right. I think you definitely don't want to have regrets like that. It makes it hard. It definitely does make it hard. And I think everybody needs to always take a moment, slow down, think about what's been going on even just over the last month. How's the last month gone? How do you feel about it? What do you think about your time with your family, with your work, with whatever it is that you have? That way you make the best decisions for you and your family going forward.
For sure.
And at this point, you're going to have a different situation and it's just going to be better. It
is. And I say I regret, and I am a firm believer now. And I hate saying everything happens for a reason because, like when someone passes away, it's like, well, everything happens. No, like sometimes like I hate that saying, but I really truly believe like you're where you're supposed to be in life. And
here's the one thing is a mistake is just a mistake. You just need to learn from it. It doesn't mean, and it doesn't really have meaning if you take it, accept it, move on, and learn from it to improve and be better. That's the whole thing. And everything to do with life. And so it doesn't really matter.
I've said it once and I'll say it again. I'll say it 100 times. It's like I feel like I suffered in silence. I'm going to heal out loud. I'm going to heal out loud in hopes that I can help one working mom or just one mom or one dad or anything to just slow down, take a breath, and stop giving a shit what other people think. And I'm still deep in the caring, and I don't know, early on, I think it was probably episode 1, you said like, who in your life doesn't like you that you actually like? And I tell myself all that all the time. Like even when I get up in my feelings about something, it's like, whatever, I don't even like you. So I don't really care if you like me. Or even with this podcast, it's like, who's out there listening just to hate us? You know what? Whatever. If you're listening because you hate us, that's fine too.
Right.
A download's a download. No. We want to help. But I'm sure there are people out there that listen and get annoyed by at least my nonsense. But it is what it is. We're doing it for us. We're doing it to, we've said it before. If we can help one person, like that's the goal. So
Right. Just supporting each other.
Don't let the strain of whatever phase you're in, everything can spill into everything. Your relationship, your self-confidence, your mental health, you love your baby, but you miss yourself, and that doesn't make you a bad mom. It makes you human, and we just need to slow down.
Right.
Take it
in. Just remember to enjoy every phase that you go through with your children, and always at the end of every day, hold your babies a little tighter because they won't be babies for long.
Oh, it goes by. Gosh, that's anything. It's just,
Yeah. So what helps? For me, it was lowering the bar, like way down. If everyone was fed and alive, that was a win.
I had a boss say to me one time, he's like, but did you die?
Right.
I'm like,
exactly.
No. Or if it doesn't add value, don't say it. And that helps too, especially to some of the online trolls. If it doesn't add value,
right,
don't say it.
Right.
For me, it was learning to ask for help and finding people I could be real with, not just everything's great mom friends, but the I cried in the bathroom kind of friends.
Also, celebrate the little wins, no matter how little. The shower you managed to take, the tantrum you handled calmly, the 5 whole minutes you sat in silence.
For sure. And if today felt like survival mode, that's okay. You're still showing up, and that's love. That's motherhood.
So if you're in the thick of the infant or toddler stage, this one's for you. You're not failing. You're doing hard, important work.
It's messy, it's emotional, and you're not alone in any of it. We see you, we are you, we've been you.
Send this episode to the mom in your life who needs to hear she's not the only one hiding in the pantry during bedtime.
And if you've got stories, meltdowns, or moments of magic from these early years, send them our way. You can like us on TikTok, Facebook at the ARMC. We would love for you to comment, share your stories, write us a review. iHeart, Spotify, Apple. You can comment, you can review us, or you can email us at thearmc2025 @gmail.com. We want to hear from you. Give us some feedback. Share your stories, please. Hang in there, mama.
You've got this. If no one's told you lately, let me be the one to say it. You're not failing. You're growing. You're not broken. You're becoming. And you're doing better than you think.
Thanks for being here today. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love if you'd subscribe, leave a review, or share it with another mom who might need to hear this. You can also connect with us on Facebook or TikTok at the ARMC. We'd love to hear your story.
Until next time, give yourself grace, breathe deep, and remember, peace is possible.